What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel in the 2021 Chevrolet Silverado. So I actually had this video entirely filmed, and then I drove some more and had an updated review on the Rough Country Speedometer Calibrator. So as we can see by the truck, she is a little bit more dirty, and that's because we didn't take her off-road, but we took her on some trails. And you know, I had a whole review filmed about this, but driving on those trails, you know, kind of steep four-wheel drive, mud, obviously, maybe kind of change how I felt about this and have some updated opinions. So obviously she is pretty darn freaking dirty, but let's go ahead and get to talking about how I feel about the speedometer calibrator. So if we recall, she is right up in there, quick plug and play, super easy installation. So I may or may not include some of the original review, but obviously right off the bat it does exactly what it's supposed to do. So it does calibrate the speedometer, it puts the odometer in check, it puts the trip computer in check, and it puts our fuel economy in check, which is now reading about 18 miles per gallon. And just to correct people on Rough Country's website, it doesn't make your MPG better, it just fixes the computer calculation. So it goes from 15.6 in my case to about 18, which seems about right. It is correcting for that difference. Now, in the original review, I did say it did seem to upgrade the shift points, and yes, it did. I can confirm after driving it, it has been 1 week since having it on the truck. The shift points are far better in the truck. It seems a lot happier. It honestly seems to have a bit more power, just because it holds on to the correct gear. It is in the correct gear, so it feels more peppy, it feels more powerful, and it shifts when it's supposed to. So those are all great things. It did upgrade the OE shift points for me. Now, in addition to obviously calibrating the speedometer, getting everything all in check, shift points, that was big. If you've been following this channel for a little bit, you know that my transmission tends to run a little bit hot. So prior to doing this on the highway, it would run around 180-ish. It would kind of top out there. Mountain passes 200, 210, and then obviously we've seen off-road it gets up to 250. Now, in the original review, I had driven it, I took the back way to work, you know, I had driven a little bit, and the temperatures did seem to be a little bit down. Obviously the truck was driving a little bit better, but temperatures, you know, I didn't do anything really extreme enough to really push it and see the difference until yesterday. So let's get to that. So yesterday, as you can tell by the mud on it, we took the truck up to the beginning of Hagerman Pass. So some kind of twisting, winding asphalt roads and a little bit of dirt. We also, there's a couple you know, takeoff roads and whatnot, went on those, as we can tell. And the truck was doing some steep climbs in four-wheel drive through some mud, you know, nothing really hard. You could take a Camry on it if it wasn't winter time, but some pretty easy stuff. But it was steep and muddy, and we're going slow, and typically that's when the truck gets up to about 190 or so on the transmission. And obviously I was monitoring it the entire time, and I am thrilled with the results. I love how we're just barely out of the sun there, just because the freaking mountain behind it. Anyway, so thrilled with the results the entire time on the asphalt, doing switchbacks, you know, around 40 mile an hour, also around 40 degrees. I know there is snow on the ground and everything, but you know, moderately warm-ish temperatures for winter, obviously not 70, 80 degrees or anything like that. On the road, the asphalt switchbacks, it did not go above 180. It stayed under 180. It really liked to be around that 172, which I've never really seen from the truck before. I'm just liking standing there because it's out of the snow. Good gosh, she looks good, doesn't she? So no hotter than 180. I can confirm it did not go above 180 on the asphalt switchback steep road. And then when we turned off onto the road, obviously where most of this mud came from, I put it in a 4x4. It wasn't super bad, but obviously, you know, needed the four-wheel drive because of the mud. And it stuck at 176 the entire dang time. So 176 on the transmission, climbing, going real slow, 10 mile an hour ish, 4x4. 176 went down to 174 at one point. It was running super cool. Got back on the road, you know, was using the engine braking, shifting down in gears and whatnot, and it did not touch 190 the entire time. It didn't even go above 180, I guarantee that. So that's really awesome to see. Obviously it is a little bit cold out. It was a nice day yesterday, 40-ish degrees, but on trails like that, I mean, even on the highway sometimes the truck will get up to 190, so I'm thrilled to see that. Obviously there is snow on the ground, and we're not doing actual trail driving right now. We are actually going to go to Moab next week, which is going to be cool, but we're taking the motorcycles, so maybe this will do something. Doubt it, but we'll record that trip. But I just wanted to update this because all I've been doing is driving the highway, and I saw a little bit of temperature decrease But taking it on, you know, as much trail driving as I can in the winter, I'm super thrilled. And I'm really curious to see how this is going to be once summer comes around and all this crap goes away. Taking it on trails and seeing if it really does reduce that temperature. You know, I know exactly where it hit 250 that one time, so we're going to do it again. So anyways, without taking it actually trail driving, let's go ahead and fire up here. I'm thrilled with it. I am really quite happy with it. I mean, we've, you know, been driving up and on the highway, just doing regular stuff that I typically do, and I haven't seen anywhere near as warm temperatures as I previously had, which is something I was hoping for but not necessarily expecting. Let's just get out of here, get a little more mud on the tires. But yeah, honestly, just a re-record because I had more experience with it. It's been a week. If you're on the fence and thinking about getting a speedometer, that's money. Thinking about getting a speedometer calibrator, I think I referenced in the original recording. I haven't even watched it, to be honest. It's not necessary. I drove the truck for 15,000 miles without doing it. Letting y'all listen to that mud fling off the tires. I drove for 15,000 miles without doing it, and it wasn't detrimental. But as for the 1 week review, it's doing everything that it needs to do, and I'm pretty excited.